Welcome to the Kino Cave. Today I'm finally talking about The Bear Season 2. So, this season of The Bear has made the show one of my all time favourite shows. The level of filmmaking and artistry on display here is absolutely fantastic. I loved this season. One of the best seasons of TV I've seen, chronologically, probably since Daredevil, and for me specifically, since Breaking Bad. Like, this show is probably in my top five favorite TV shows of all time, at least in live action anyway. It's up there with Daredevil, Breaking Bad, and all those television shows for me. Every single character in this season has been evolved, and they each have their own little segments and episodes dedicated just to them, and like the other characters as well. But I love how we get to focus on our characters. Season one was a little bit more out of focus. I couldn't quite get a handle on a lot of the characters outside of like Carmi and Richie and Sydney. But in this season, every character feels like a member of this family. It's absolutely brilliant. This season also has a much better structure, I think, than season one. With the restaurant being revamped and made anew, I think it provides a simple and really good plot structure for the entire season. It allows us to focus on our characters, and it also has a goal for the viewer as well as the characters to reach. I wanted to keep this review short, like my review of The Bear Season 1, because, symmetry and all that. So I'm actually going to start getting into spoilers now for specific episodes. So if you haven't seen The Bear, please go watch it. It is probably the best running TV show right now, alongside The Boys, I think. That's another one of my top five favorite live action TV shows. But yeah, The Bear is definitely up there. I cannot wait for season three. I'm gonna be eating good in June. Season three of The Boys, or season three of The Bear, season four of The Boys. I will talk about The Boys at some point on this channel because that is up there with my favorite TV shows as well. But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen The Bear, go watch it. I'm going to be getting into spoilers now. The first episode that really stood out to me is Honeydew. This is about halfway through the season. The previous episode's really good, but this one stood out to me as, oh, the filmmaking is just on another level in this season. This is the one where Marcus goes to Copenhagen and we get the wonderful cameo with Will Poulter. And I just love that scene where Will Poulter and Marcus are just there and they're just making bread. They're just kneading bread. They're doing whatever. They're making that specific kind of bread. I can't exactly remember. And they're just relating to each other about their journeys as cooks and chefs and bakers and things like that. And that scene really stood out to me. That scene is kind of what elevated the entire show for me beyond, just it being a pretty good show that was on. That one scene, it just felt so real and so human and so raw. I can't even put into words how much it means to me that we have a scene like this in a TV show in 2022. Or two or three, I can't remember exactly when this season came out because I watched it well after it came out. But yes, that scene is absolutely excellent. Probably the best episode. Yeah, I'd say probably the best episode of the season for me is Fishes. This is the hour-long episode. I think it was episode 6. This is when you have cameos from John Bernthal, who was Carmi's brother, and Bob Odenkirk and Jamie Lee Curtis as Carmi's mother, which is just fantastic casting. That was the most relatable, up until about the last 5-10 minutes, the most relatable Christmas media I've ever seen. We all have that thing about Christmas time where we're just trying to keep it together, but there's so much stress and there's yelling and there's arguing. But at the end of the day, it's all in service of this precious moment that we only get once a year. Obviously, I know everybody's Christmas is kind of different, and I would love to get into an entire video about this one episode, maybe around Christmas time, but for me, I could just see so much relatability to myself in this episode. Because, the holidays aren't easy for anybody, and this one just spoke to me in particular. Obviously, it's not going to speak to everybody. Everybody has a different experience around Christmas time, but that one is the most closely related to me. I absolutely love that episode, and I'm definitely going to be watching it come Christmas time. Now, I said that Fishes is probably the best episode of the season and of the whole show in general, but I think the one I would want to rewatch the most is Forks. I'm going to talk a bit more about Richie in a second, but he went from like a 6 out of 10 character to a 10 out of 10 character in this just one episode. It made me feel so much for him. And again, it's so relatable. We all have that experience of you're starting a new job and you're starting work in a new place and you think, oh, this might be a little bit of fun, or we might be able to do whatever we want, and you just get handed menial work like cleaning forks. My first job was in a processing factory for eggs, and I thought, oh, what am I going to be doing here? Am I going to be cleaning? Am I going to be like, sorting or what? I was put in front of a conveyor belt and I had to put cartons of eggs into like big boxes that they'd be shipped in. And I had that same experience that Richie had, where I was just like, oh, it's break time now. I'll probably get put on something else for the second half of the day. Nope. Same thing for the entire 8-hour day. The next day I'm like, okay, what am I going to be doing? Oh, the same thing again. End of the week. Surely the next week I'm going to be put on something else. I wasn't. And that was like 3 summers of my life of just putting a box into a bigger box all day, every day. It was really stressful, but then you finally get to move on to something else, and it's so satisfying then. And you feel so good about yourself when you get to move on to better things after that. And that's what made this episode so relatable to me and so watchable. And I'll talk about Richie's character specifically, but just when he's driving it down, fucking singing along to Taylor Swift. I've put that song in my driving playlist now, for when I want to listen to music while I drive, just because I want to have that feeling. The last episode that really stood out to me as one of my favorites is Omelette. This is the second to last episode. It's just so hype. Like, obviously, it all had to come crashing down in the season finale, but that episode of Omelette, especially towards the end when they're about to open the doors, so brilliant. So brilliant. And I'll just take this opportunity to talk about the music in this show, because AC/DC plays at the end of that episode and it's fucking so hype. The music in this show is on point. So many bangers. So many bangers. So like I said, Richie became one of my favorite characters in that one episode. Before I was like, he's kind of a prick. He's a little bit like, he's very down to earth, which is good, but he's a bit of a prick. But then you see his journey throughout Forks, and then you see him after that episode, and he's like a fucking caterpillar that's become a butterfly. Like, it's so great to see his character before and after, and I love to see how far he came. And I can see a lot of relatability in that, and just kind of going through the motions and just being like, oh god, yeah. And then you do something that makes you a better person, and you start to feel really good about yourself, and now you wear suits. Like, he wears suits now. So yeah, Richie and Carmi are now tied for me with favorite character. It's absolutely brilliant. If I were to level a bit of criticism at this show, because there is a bit, the final episode was slightly underwhelming for me. It was really emotional. It pretty much made me cry. But seeing Carmi kind of get shafted throughout the episode by being stuck in the fridge, I would have loved to see more of a resolution to that, maybe, or seeing him being a bit more proactive instead of just screaming about his problems, even though I love all of that dialogue. But I would have liked to have seen maybe more from him in action. And my other little criticism is that I kind of like to treat seasons of TV as their own movies, and ending a season of TV on a cliffhanger I don't love. I kind of love when a season of TV can be bookended. So I kind of didn't love how it was a bit too open-ended and there wasn't much of a resolution. I get that that's the point, but it's a completely a personal thing. I just don't really love that in my TV shows. So yeah, besides that though, The Bear is one of my favorite shows going at the moment, and I encourage anyone who hasn't seen it yet, or hasn't seen, maybe watched season 1, didn't love it, and didn't watch season 2, go watch season 2. It is absolutely brilliant television. The best TV we've had in years. And with all that being said, I forgot to say like and subscribe in the last couple of videos, did I? Like the video if you liked it. It really does help me out. Subscribe to the channel to see more reviews like this one. I'm still going through the X-Men movies. Every second video will be an X-Men review. So look out for those. And I hope you all have a really great day.